Hey there, how's it going? Today is day 54 of my 100-day challenge, and I want to talk about the idea of being right versus being wrong. So I'm not talking about your convictions or morally being right versus wrong. I am talking about being right or wrong in a debate or a conversation. So I used to always put other people on a pedestal. And I had such low confidence and low self-esteem that no matter what people would say, I would always believe that what they were saying was truth or was right. And I would always, for some reason, I would squelch my own point of view and I would just believe that that person was more knowledgeable rather than owning who I am. So first I want to start out by saying that your point of view matters. And here is why. There is no such thing as right or wrong. Yeah, I'm going to say it again. There is no such thing as right or wrong. It is all about perspective, right? And perspective comes from each individual. It comes from our experiences, our truths, the way we grew up, the way we did life, our day-to-day. Every single little bit of our experiences adds to the way that we see the world. It colors the lens which we see the world through. So, for instance, let's think about a stop sign, right? A lot of us see a stop sign and we see a stop sign as red. But there are some people that are colorblind and they don't see red. And so for them, their right or their truth is that that stop sign is not red. Or another example is a dog, right? Someone might look at a dog and say, whoa, that is a big dog, because maybe they've always had little dogs. Maybe they've never had dogs. Maybe they've only had cats. So their point of view, their perspective is, whoa, that's a big dog. Someone else might look at that dog and might say, that is a small dog, because they're used to Great Danes or Bull Mastiffs. Neither one of those people is right or wrong, right? They're both right. So what if we adopted this idea that there is no right and there is no wrong? Even things that we hold on as truths, like scientific truths, for instance, aren't always right or wrong. They don't always work out the way that we expect in the right way. For instance, we know it to be a truth, a scientific fact, that the more food that you eat, you gain weight. But there are phenomenons, there are things that happen that we can't explain. For instance, lately I have been eating a lot of food and my metabolism, for whatever reason, is picking up and I'm actually losing weight. And so in that case, the idea, the scientific truth that the more food that you eat, the more bad food that you eat, because by the way, I'm not only eating good food, I have chocolate cake that I'm about to eat after this. But the scientific truth that the more bad food that you eat, the more weight that you gain, that is not always truth. That is not always true. So what is right isn't always right to everyone. Just like what is wrong isn't always wrong to everybody. It is all about perspective. And my belief is it is more about wanting to look good or not wanting to look bad, right? And I think it's really interesting because if you're by yourself, does it matter? Does it matter if you are right or if you are wrong? I think that when you're right and you're by yourself, the only time that it really feels satisfying is if you run out and you tell somebody about why you're right. So why do we want to be right? Why do we avoid being wrong? It's because we want to feel good. We feel good we feel good in front of others when we're right. We feel bad about ourselves in front of others when we're wrong. So that tells us that is the ego. We want to be right because of our ego. We want to avoid being wrong because of our ego. But there is no such thing as right or wrong. What if we adopted that mentality and we just saw people, every person for having different perspectives, every person for having different truths? Imagine the conversations that we would be able to have, the honest, open, engaging conversations that we would be able to have. We wouldn't be judging people for being wrong. We would be truly listening to them. We would be engaged, and maybe we could learn something from that perspective. Or we wouldn't be trying to prove our point. We wouldn't be trying to show them that they are wrong and we are right. We wouldn't be seeking validation. We would just be having a conversation in order to engage with another person or in order to grow. And this matters because your point of view matters. There is no such thing as right or wrong. You just tell yourself that you are right or wrong. We tell ourselves what right is. As a society, sometimes we decide that right is right. Like I said about the stop sign, we decide that a stop sign is red, but that doesn't make it true for everybody. So your point of view matters. Don't worry about being right or wrong. Just worry about engaging in meaningful conversations. Let go of your ego and just listen to people and share your point of view and see what you can learn from others. See what you can add, what value you can add to others. I think that this is so impactful, especially as somebody who likes to be right. That is why I have been thinking about this a lot. Being right is just trying to please that ego. And that ego, it is a dirty thing. It just gets in the way of having a meaningful life and having meaningful relationships. So what is more important to you? A meaningful life, meaningful relationships, or being right? You get to decide. Thank you so much for showing up with me today. Keep showing up for yourself every single day, because if you do, there is nowhere that you can go but up. If you would like to dive deeper, you can head over to my website, showuptogoup.com. I'll see you tomorrow.